Councilmember Scherman.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of items that I'm concerned about, and I'll just address one right now with you, and then we can go during the deliberation. This program then is going to allow bus passes to the homeless to get them to the food bank. I understand that. That's very admirable. But we're providing free bus passes to the homeless folks where we're not providing bus passes to our students. We've been through this, down this road before where the parents were having to find a way to get their kids to school. And so now, we have the bus routes that accommodate them. But still, we're not giving any free bus passes to families that really, really can use it. And so I have a problem with that. I don't understand when you say that, and I'm not shooting the messenger, okay? But what I don't understand is it says that they will not be on the buses during high peak hours. Well, then my question is then if we don't have enough ridership on those non-high peak hours, then why are we operating the buses at that particular time? If we have, 2 riders, 1 rider, we're going to be opening the opportunity for lawsuits because when they get on the bus, and that means to anybody, even the kids, how they start arguing and fighting, and pretty soon they start hitting each other, and then they start hitting the bus driver. We've had those incidents in the past and recently. So with this added ingredient, lack of a better word, they start, they will fight because they're very territorial, you touch their stuff, they get very angry. For those that do have, mental problems. If they forget their belongings on the bus, they will get very agitated. How do we get the belongings back to them if there isn't any ID in them? We will then, I'll just address them all, I guess, and then you can kind of filter through where you can answer, or you can stop me when I end one question and start with another. I'm concerned that, I know we have homeless. I'm not sticking my head in the sand. We've had that since day one. Realize that. We have them. They live on the railroad tracks, in the cars, behind businesses, in the dumpsters, on the outside of the parks, under the trees at different parks that I know personally. And a lot of us do, and our PD department can tell you exactly where they generally find them. So what to me it's telling the people, the folks in the other region, not Elk Grove, outside of Elk Grove, telling them, get your Social Security check or your veterans check or whatever, change the address that says Elk Grove, California, and you will get free transportation to the food bank. Okay, so far? Okay. But last November, when I was involved with the program of collecting the 700 turkeys, for Thanksgiving for the food bank, I happened to be there the day that a gentleman, young man, came in to the food bank with a note from the food bank of Sacramento saying they were told to come to Elk Grove because we had turkeys, and they were sending their overflow to the Elk Grove Food Bank. Marie Chiquino then got on the phone and called the Sacramento Food Bank and asked them what was going on because, we're providing for our own citizens, and here they're sending them down here. So what I'm afraid of is that, yes, our population of homeless folks will increase, and I know this is backed and supported by the different churches, and that's fine and well, but in time, I'm afraid that it will then say to the homeless, to the churches, the churches, they will say, now that you have 100 plus or 200 or whatever the numbers may grow, and now we need a shelter. So now we've gone to another step. So I'm really concerned about this program. I think that we are going a little bit too far out, to help, to promote homelessness. If they're here in Elk Grove, I don't have a problem with that. But to provide them bus transportation to the food bank, I think is a little bit much in my opinion. I've always championed for, feeding and clothing our citizens of Elk Grove. And in on one line it says, offers a chance for homeless residents to try the bus system, potentially encouraging paid use at other times. I don't see them getting on the bus. convince me otherwise. Tell me, you know.
A surprising number of them do actually ride the buses, and what we found is that they're more familiar with the public transit network than a lot of us probably are, because that is how they get around. I think, you know, regarding the issue, I heard kind of three issues here. The last one of which was, what do we do about residents who don't live in the city, and we don't want to encourage people to come to Elk Grove. What we have on our intake sheet is we ask for an address. You know, some homeless people stay with friends or family. We would know that, you know, they were staying in Elk Grove. And if they aren't able to provide a current address, they're down by the river or, you know, staying in their car, we will ask for a last known address. And they can also tell us where they're staying. If they are not staying in Elk Grove, they don't get a bus pass. And the bus pass is good only on the E-Tran system, so it doesn't do them much use.
I understand they can't transfer to RT or anything like
Right.
that. I understand that. But you also missed the point where I made the comment. They can change their addresses on their checks to reflect now a new Elk Grove address. How are we going to, I mean, right now you say we have 60 passes that we're going to, total of 60 in a month that we're going to be
That's the number we would issue. We expect that somewhat fewer of those passes would actually be used.
I wish I was that optimistic. I just see that it's going to be growing and they're going to be really waiting, and rightly so. If we are offering that program and they're going to have them standing in line, what are we going to do to the folks that, you know, the homeless that are there, and we say, I'm sorry, you've reached a quota. We've already have 6 passes. We can't give you one. I mean,
The churches, I think that the churches and the nonprofits who give out this assistance have gotten extremely good at being conservative about the assistance that they provide, especially since they've been providing $25 grocery and gas cards.
But they're having trouble monitoring. You just said earlier, their gas cards.
You can't make sure that someone goes to the grocery store and uses that money on groceries, but they do talk to them extensively, and part of the goal of getting them into the churches and then also to the food bank is they have the programs that can help to assist them to get back on their feet. Sacramento Self-Help Housing meets, or they offer assistance at the food bank once per week, and so, you know, the goal of this is to help them get to places that are better equipped to deal with the housing issues and hopefully get them into housing. What we've heard from both Sacramento Self-Help Housing and the food bank is that our homeless population in Elk Grove is not the same as it is in Sacramento. It's not a lot of chronically homeless people who often do have mental health issues. It's a lot of families.
We don't know because we haven't spoken to these people. If you talk to Marie Chiquino, she says there are many, many people that come to the food bank and are in need of assistance in the mental health. But,
that's
true.
Know,
because they don't have it. They can't offer it. We're always running, fundraisers for the food bank for food and clothes. Now I'll wait for the rest of my colleagues to speak.
On the students issue, I think one of the ideas about this program, and we did talk about the students because we do understand that, providing these passes to one population may lead to another population also inquiring about them. And so the goal of the program was to see how it worked with these passes, a small number of passes that we're distributing for a specific purpose. And if we can get a system in place, then next fiscal year we could come back to you with a proposal to use CDBG funds or community service grant funds to fund or to subsidize the passes for students or other populations that were important to the council.
Sarah, I think an important part is that this is a pilot too.
Yes.
Mayor, if there's no public comment, I'll go ahead and move staff's recommendation.
I will second it, but just for